Roth conversions don't really make sense in this case, all right? And if you're wondering why I got my polo on, my monkey suit here, I just got back from the TSA, the pre-check thing, whatever the hell it's called. And so I had to dress up for the boys in blue to say, hey, we're not going to go after you, Scanlon. So I appreciate it, sir. Yes, sir. And actually it went pretty good in and out. And we'll see if I get my TSA number thing so I can just bypass the security. I don't know how it works, but anyway. Been waiting to do this for a while, and finally said, I'm sick of waiting in the Atlanta airport, and I guarantee your old buddy Josh, there's still gonna be a black cloud over me, like raining down on me. TSA checkpoint is gonna take 5 hours. If you just want to run general check, it would take 30 minutes, guaranteed. All right. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say you have $100,000 of income, and you have $13,000 of tax. All right. So this is your gross income. This is your tax. What is our effective tax rate? Our effective tax rate, you take your tax, divide by your income, your gross income, not your net, your gross. You take your tax, divide by your gross income, and your effective tax rate is 13%. All right, it's pretty simple. Your gross income, you take your amount you pay in taxes, divide by your gross income, and that's what you get. Now, a lot of the clients I work with, they'll be in a 13% effective tax rate. All right, right here. That's their effective tax rate. But then they'll have something else, which is a marginal tax rate. So the effective tax rate is the amount of taxes you paid on your dollars previously, up to that point. Effective tax rate. How much tax did you pay on all the money you've earned at this point? That's your effective tax rate. Your marginal tax rate is the amount of percentage of tax you'll pay on the next dollar. All right, so you got a 13% effective tax rate and a 22% marginal tax rate. All right, so if we were to convert $50,000 here, just to give you an example, the marginal tax rate won't be 13%, it'll be 22%. All right, so we're going to pay whatever that is, $22,000. We're going to pay $11,000 in tax on the next $50,000 of income. And if that's a Roth conversion, that seems tough to me to make that justification. So we're going to pay $11,000 in tax on the next $50,000 Roth conversions, whereas before we paid $13,000 in tax on 100. We had $100,000, and we paid $13,000 in tax. Does that make sense? So now we have $150,000, and our total tax is $24,000 because we have $13,000 over here and $11,000 over there. So now we have $100,000. Our total tax is $24,000. I don't know how to do that in my head, so let me bust out my trusty phone calculator. 24,000 on 150. Let me pause real quick. So now our effective tax rate is 16%. All right, so we increased our effective tax rate by from 13 to 16. 3 divided by 13. We've increased it by 23%. All to, that's all for what? To get this tax free in the future. But it's in the future. What's the benefit of doing that? So again, if your effective tax rate is way down here and your marginal tax rate is way up there, it's hard to make a justification to make that jump to say, look, let's sacrifice a 13% effective tax rate and make it a 16% effective tax rate simply because we want this $50,000 to be tax-free in the future. And it's got to be a long time in the future, too, to really make up that money back. Now, what will happen, though, a lot of times, and this doesn't happen as much, but sometimes I'll get an effective tax rate that's like right here, an 18% effective tax rate, TR. And then the jump isn't that high. Then you're like, yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Especially, that makes sense, if in the future, because of RMDs, your marginal tax rate is up here now at 24. Remember, 22 will soon be 25, 24 will soon be 28. And then you're saying, well, because we're kind of right there already, our effective tax rate is pretty doggone close to our marginal tax rate, and once the RMDs kick in, we can go, it's going to be significantly higher. In fact, when these RMDs kick in, it won't be 24, it'll be 28% effective tax or marginal tax rate. You can easily make a case to do a Roth conversion there. But if it's way down here, I don't think you can, 13% or something like that. I mean, you can. I did all my Roth conversion last year, and people are like, that's so dumb. Because I'm in a pretty high tax bracket. Yeah, it is dumb. Guess what? You pay the taxes while you got the money. That's my argument, is always pay the tax while you got the money. But the issue that we have up here is that the tax rates are only going to get higher in this case because this Trump tax bill is going away. And then you got to think about things like Medicare premiums and all that as well. So if your effective tax rate is closing in on your marginal tax rate, I think it makes sense to do Roth conversions. Unless this effective tax rate with the Roth conversions bypasses the entirety of the 22% tax rate and puts in the 28% marginal tax rate, marginal tax bracket. See, that's a little bit of an issue. You don't want to bypass this marginal tax rate to go here. That would defeat the purpose. Then we're right back to square one. So you want to do, if you're right here, if your effective tax rate is close to your marginal tax rate, you do enough, man, I can't speak. All this working with the government scared me. They got to see if I'm a felon. I'm only a felony of love for my wife. Speak. I can take Pablo to the vet here in a little bit. He's limping, man. He's like not even walking on his left hind leg. Ah, so sad. I don't know what's going on. But what was I saying here? I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, if your effective tax rate is closing on your marginal tax rate, again, that's you'd want to look at, but we don't want to look at to the point that it puts us in the next marginal tax bracket. That doesn't make any sense at all. And again, in my opinion. Oh, that's what I was saying. So I pay the tax when I have the money. I always say, if you got the money, pay the tax. That we don't have to worry about in the future. One less thing to check off, say, future expenses. Income tax in my portfolio. Anyway, that's one of the reasons you want to kind of revisit if it's worth doing Roth conversions. Look at your effective tax rate versus your marginal. All right, love your thoughts. God bless. And I'll tell you about the results for old Pablo. See ya.